Hey everybody, welcome to Nonstop Tech. I am your host, Doc Rock.
And I'm Jerome, the co-host, as always.
There you go. Dude, you're like far away. It's kind of cool. I like having my sack space.
It's not like
good.
Last time at the table when we were so close together. Where are we right now anyways?
Actually, we are at the brand new Greenhouse Innovation Lounge doing a pop-up podcast recording. So it's kind of cool. It's more live. It's more vibrant. I think you'll like this better.
More chill.
More chill. Definitely chill. What we need is a couple brewskis right here on the side.
Or even in the front.
If you are a beer sponsor or a... Actually, I like sake.
I was going to say.
Or wine sponsor, please send me an email to doc@nonstoptech.com. We would enjoy to have your tasty beverage on our podcast.
Cool.
Besides, he needs a drink because he's like stiff like this. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Today, goodness, I get this question all the time. So how do you format your hard drive? I don't know if you've heard of that question quite often.
Yeah, press disk utility and then press format. That's it.
See, that's on the Mac side. Much easier, right? So on the Windows side, get ready for this. Actually, I had to write this down because I haven't used it for so long, but it's bad. You pretty much have to jump into My Computer, or actually you should be able to go right into the control panel after you go to the Start menu. And you actually go to Administrative Tools, then Computer Management, and afterwards there's another tab for Disk Management, and then you can format your newly installed hard drive or your external hard drives.
Okay, so what do you think is the best format to do this installing it, especially if they want to move back and forth from, say, like Mac to PC?
So it used to be FAT32, easiest way to move back and forth, but there were limitations. I believe you can only put so many folders inside of folders and that, called nesting. You can also only, I believe the file size limit was 4 gigs, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And there were other issues with, like, we have like terabyte, actually 2-3 terabyte drives now, I believe, and those where you had an issue, you had to actually make multiple partitions or different sections to get it to work properly. Luckily, now we have a format called exFAT, and that gets rid of that issue. If you format as exFAT, it doesn't matter what size the hard drive is, gets rid of that file size limitation, and allows you to move back and forth between the Mac and the Windows-based computers easily. Because it used to be someone was like, oh, it's HFS, which is for the Mac, and you plugged into a Windows computer. Windows computer is like, I don't speak this language. I don't know what the heck you just plugged into me, and nothing shows up.
Right.
You could do NTFS, which is for the Windows side. The Mac was able to, hey, I can pull the information off. Great. But then you had an issue writing information to it.
And then you had file size limitation as well.
Was there one on that?
Yeah,
oh, no.
I believe if I remember correctly, please don't get if I'm wrong, because you know what, honestly, I try to ignore it as much as possible. But I believe the file size limitations were 2 gigs at one point and then 4 gigs at another point, which becomes somewhat of a barrier when you're dealing with things like even the camera that we're shooting on right now, which can create a 50 gig file.
Yeah,
you know, so it's just really, it was always kind of somewhat of a pain in the butt, even though the Mac could read it and it would work. A lot of that, moving things back and forth could become a hassle, which is why I've always done gigabit Ethernet as my method of choice of moving files from one computer to the other. And, now everybody's gone wireless. So wireless is a lot slower than actually plugging the cable in. So, yeah, this might help.
I'd recommend, if you have the money to spare, actually they've become much cheaper now. You get a network attached storage device or
Drobo.
NAS. Drobo's awesome.
Looking for sponsors here. Drobo.
Or Synology too. We'll take Synology also.
Thank you. You would throw Synology in there when I'm trying to get a Drobo plug.
Hey, I like my Synology and I like my Drobo.
We're going to have a Drobo Synology fight one day, because Synology is like a PC. It looks like it was made by a monkey, and a Drobo is elegant design.
On.
It's so beautiful. Synology looks like a freaking tech box. It looks like a nerd box.
Well, it lets you do a lot more. That's why.
Yeah, but Drobo is design, and design is more important.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of these days we're going to have a benchmark showdown, which is more geeky, but
No.
I'm just kidding. We shouldn't do that,
I can tell you, first and foremost, hands down, your Porsche would be faster than my BMW. My BMW is a better car.
Oh, my God.
Sometimes the specs don't matter.
No.
It has to sit on a table. And when it looks like a box that some PC designer designed, we're Mac people. You should know design and
Have you seen my
respect.
Synology now?
Yeah, I've seen what they look like.
Okay,
They
you know
look
what?
like
I'm going to have to bring that
Wait,
thing
I'm
in.
going to pull up a picture.
So how
right
about
now.
this? Both of them are good, and I like them both. Bottom line, that's it.
Nope.
That'll keep him from going crazy, but he's more likely gonna look it up now and argue.
Gotta
with
be
me some more.
designed, dude. Design. It has to look pretty. See, we're spoiled. Once you become an Apple user, you can't have ugly computer products, and that thing is ugly. It looks like it was designed.
Well,
by
while you're
monkey.
looking it up, the reason I recommended the NAS was because it doesn't matter if you have a Windows-based computer, Linux-based computer, Macintosh-based computer. You hook it up to your network, the computers see it, and you can move stuff across easily, depending on your network speed. That's why I have one. We still have one Windows computer on there, my gaming rig, which really transferring games back and forth, it's just sitting there pretty much. But it's easy to move it back and forth. And if you're running a small business or even if you just need a centralized location for all your information, because I know everyone has movies, they have music, what else is there, pictures, all that junk, you can just drop it on there.
Music and stuff are probably like the number one and number two like thing that most people are trying to find a way to put large files away. Pictures add up really quick, especially with today's cameras.
And
Today's
shooting in
cameras,
RAW. Oh.
yeah, especially if you're like me and you shoot in RAW.
But the other cool thing is a lot of the more expensive.
Looks
No,
like a
no, that's not the one I have. Mine looks
like
better
a
now.
refrigerator.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Okay,
We'll put
anyway.
some pictures up later. God, what
By Drobo.
jeez, you made me lose my train of thought again. Thank you.
It's
Just
a
'cause
very
you
short.
keep on-
It's a very short train.
Yeah, it crashed.
Would you hurry up? Okay. Anyway, so now that they got it formatted in the right format, is there anything else I need to know about this?
In my opinion, no. Everything else, it's pretty much once you have it formatted, you're good to go. You just have to decide on what format you want at the beginning. If
Cool.
you have questions, I mean, put in your questions to our question and answer period. We'll mention the email at the end. Or if you definitely need help, there's always iFix Pro. Always out there,
Word.
right?
Yeah, as long as they don't make me work on Synology.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
so right now the talk of the town is, of course, the iPhone 4S. The iPhone 4S setup video was epic. We got a lot of response from that. Shut up.
Wait. I have to make... How am I doing?
Uh-oh, I don't have a phone number for Jesse.
There you go.
This is great.
Great. Anyway,
there you go,
so
Siri.
the whole point of this conversation is what most people are doing with their iPhone is playing with Siri. And truth of the matter is, Siri is very simple and it's very easy to use, and Siri in itself is a very powerful tool. However, right now it's getting a bunch of fart jokes and knock jokes.
And other things.
So, a couple of friends of mine, Erica Sadoon and Steve Sandy of TUAW, also now known as Sandoon Books. Isn't that an awesome name? Get it?
That's a good
Sadoon,
idea, actually,
Sandy.
to put them...
All right, so they just came out with a book called Talking to Siri. Okay? Talking to Siri is an absolutely fantastic book, and it will give you some ideas on how to properly talk to Siri, what to say to her, and what things she could do. A lot of things people never even thought about. Okay, the book itself is only $4.99 as an ebook. You can pick it up on the Amazon Kindle store. And Erica did a couple cool posts, and I had the book. I'm pretty much almost done. I'm going to be writing a review for the actual Nonstop page within the next couple of days or so. But I highly recommend, if you really want to get something done with Siri and you really want to use Siri for what it's good for, besides asking it things like, "Oh Siri, will you marry me?" or "Who's buried in Grant's tomb?" or
Where to hide dead bodies.
Yeah, where do I hide dead bodies? That's another good one. There's some actually great questions you can ask her, so I strongly suggest you get the book. As a quick preview to a class that I'm doing on Saturday, which is going to be the iOS iPhone 5 Best Tips class, which is available here at the Greenhouse in Honolulu. Woo-hoo. And then maybe if you're lucky, we'll make a web version so you can download it and watch it later. I'm going to give you a couple of the tips of the things that a lot of people don't know you can do with Siri. So, being a Greenhouse maven,
May I
one of
do
my
my favorite real quick?
What?
Sorry to interrupt you. My favorite, setting reminders. That's been the best
But
thing
everybody
ever.
knows that. That's not
I
fancy.
like that one, though.
But that's not fancy.
Man, some people don't know how to properly...
This is going to be the married couple edition of Nonstop Tech. Never mind. Siri, remind me to tell Jerome to shut up.
Siri, text... I'm kidding.
Okay, the first thing, you don't have to call her name. She knows her damn name. You can just say, remind me to X. You don't have to put Siri in front. And a lot of times, saying Siri, your brain naturally, from being used to talking to people, will put a pause in there, which can kind of confuse her sometimes. So it's not necessary to say Siri. I think it accepts when you do it because it realizes a lot of people will feel really funny talking to themselves. And because you're not calling a device by name, it doesn't have that personal effect. But really, you do not have to say Siri. You can just say whatever's. So one of my favorite ones because as a designer and a person that does web development, a lot of people don't know you can do this. You can test out hexadecimal colors, okay? So for instance, you can do # E97451 and she'll come up with like, burnt sienna or tangerine looking color, right? Or you can say # E6E6E6 and it will go John Garcia's favorite gray background color. I'm joking. Siri doesn't know John Garcia. Thank God for Siri. But yeah, so it's really cool because while you're trying to design and you just want to go through palettes, you want to test things out, it's really cool. It uses Wolfram Alpha. Now, the biggest important thing, Jerome probably knows this better than anyone, it's not Wolfram Alpha. So if you try to ask Siri that, it won't understand you. It's Wolfram. It's a German word, Wolfram Alpha. So properly pronounce it and Siri will be your friend. Some of the other things, you can ask it things like, you can ask it who's the sheriff. It'll tell you the sheriff in your town. You can ask it about different time zones. Siri, what time is it in New York? Siri, what time is it in Tokyo? Although you can do those things with your phone by just tapping them, a lot of times that'll be a lot faster. So again, the book is very, very helpful because it will teach you things you probably did not know you can ask Siri. For instance, today we had lunch. John Garcia, Jerome and I, we had lunch, and we got to say, Siri, what's the tip on $44.57? And she promptly comes back with $9 tip. Except for Siri, we tip 20%. Don't tell me 18%. So I got to figure out a way to teach her that 20% is the requisite number in Hawaii if you don't want any strange things happening to your food.
What else did I do? You know what I actually did today? You can actually assign, instead of just a name, you can say what that person is. So for example, for my fiance, now if I say send a text to my fiance, it actually sends a text to my fiance versus having to say the name. She has a Japanese name, and even putting into like the phonetic spelling, it still has issues with the name. So I just pretty much said, I can say text my fiance, and it'll text my fiance, which is pretty cool.
So I wonder if you can tell Siri to text the ball and chain, and she'll know what that is.
We can try that.
Theoretically, the same thing. I say you should be like me and get no fiance.
Oh, jeez. Didn't we talk about this before?
No.
Didn't you waste airtime on that?
Moving on. And the square root of 2 is 1.4142. Anyway, Siri can help you do things like that too. So I can totally see where you're going to be doing math and she's going to be helping people cheat in class.
No more phones.
Yeah. Next thing you know, teacher will be like, no more phones. Anyway, the book is called Talking to Siri. I believe that's the exact right title. Yes, Talking to Siri, Learning the Language of Apple's Intelligent Assistant. It's a Kindle book available in the Amazon store. And again, look under either Steve Sandy or Erica Sadoun, and big ups for them for doing this, because if you really want to get stuff done, if you're a solid GTDer, it's highly recommended. The book is a really quick read. It's just because it's funny. It's real easy to go through it. And you'll learn some really cool things you can do with Siri a lot of people don't know. Group text messaging, a whole lot of cool stuff like that. I got a question this week I need to go over real quick. One of our readers actually hit me up on Facebook, and it's Chris Lahip, and he's a medical student, and he was having some problems with getting duplications with the new changeover from MobileMe over to iCloud and things like that. So here's how you fix this problem. The key element is to take one of the devices and let that device become the master. So if you look through them, whichever one has the least problems, use that. There's 2 ways to do it. I like to use the cloud. So I back up the address book, calendars, and notes and things on the computer, just using the backup feature that's in the file menu of each individual program. Gotta love Harley Davidsons. Ride a moped, damn it. Anyway, so after you back these things up, go in and delete the data in every one of those pieces. So on the computer, delete all of the calendars, delete all the addresses, delete all the notes, clean it all out so it's just basically blank. Do the same thing on your phone, your iPad. However many devices you have connected to that same account, delete everything. Then go to the cloud, make any adjustments or fixes that you need to, and resync everything, and then pull down a clean copy. If the cloud is wrong, but one of the computers or the phone is right, you do exactly the opposite. But you have to remember that all the devices need to be turned off, except for the one that you're doing. Because what's happening is a lot of times you'll turn off the one on the computer and you'll go to resync it, and while you're doing that, the phone is saying, hey, the data changed. It starts sending things up to the cloud. So whenever you need to do a reset, you need to make sure there's only one device is on, cut everything else off, erase all of those other points, and then reinitialize the sync. It'll work totally perfect. So Chris, I hope that helped you out. Worst case scenario, hit me up on Facebook. I'll do a walkthrough with you and I'll show you how it's done. But I've done that lots of times and it's a really great thing. And again, great question, Chris. If anybody out there has a question for us, don't forget you can always hit us up at doc@nonstophonolulu.com or Jerome at nonstophonolulu.com, and we'll be able to get those questions out to you. Actually, we should just make a new address. How about questions at nonstophonolulu.com, and it'll just come to all of us. Then we can you can pick one. You can send it to anything. You can send it to Mike Stevens. I don't even know who that is, and it'll come to us. Anyway, so let's get your pick going real quick there, Mr. Jeromino.
My pick is going to be an awesome app I've used on the iPhone.
It's not a game, I hope.
I was going to, but then I changed my mind. Mint. Mint is finally on the iPad, and it looks amazing. You have, like I said, I'm going to show you my personal stuff, so we'll find screenshots for y'all. But there's awesome graphs and what you're spending your money on now. You can actually adjust everything on your iPad. It definitely takes advantage of the screen real estate because it was kind of small on the iPhone. You use Mint? Or?
I did, and then I just kind of like, no need. It's easy to tell how much money you don't have.
That's true too. Well, it's kind of nice to keep track of it because you don't really have to think about it, and it shoots reminders to you, and it gives you awesome suggestions if you're not really I wouldn't say not fiscally irresponsible. Yeah.
Fiscally irresponsible. You should actually be able to say it before you.
Yeah, God. But it's kind of a nice way to take a look at your finances, though, and it's free, which is awesome. For my other pick, I'm going to pick this because even though, like, warts and all, the Steve Jobs biography is amazing. Even if you hate the person, you read the book just to take a look at how kind of his thought process of how he functioned. It'll give you a nice insight.
You know what I find funny about that? Is officially that is the book. So in the back before, when you talk about the book, you were normally talking about the Bible or something like that. But in the last month or so, when someone says, "Hey, are you reading the book?" no one asks you about Genesis. They're talking about Walter Isaacson's book.
That's true.
Because the whole planet is reading that book. The book is awesome so far. I'm on like chapter 6 or 7 right now, and yeah, it's a real page turner. It's really hard to put it down.
It is.
Especially if you were doing like here at the greenhouse where we're starting a new venture. It's good to know the thought process of one of the most successful CEOs that ever walked the face of the earth. Also, as a longtime Apple fan, it's interesting to know. And I used to work for him, so now I can understand some of the decisions that were made at company level as to why we did things the way we did them. So again, fantastic read. I strongly suggest it. My picks. So, coolest app. Absolutely love it. There's a free version and a 99-cent version. And the app is basically called Craigslist, and it's one that looks like a newspaper. It's called the Craigslist Times. I like it because it feels like you're looking at a traditional classified ad style newspaper. The paid version is a little bit cooler because you take the ads out, but it has neat things like you can make circles on the ads that you want to keep, and it will like draw a line around it so that you can remember it. You can set up reminders, you can star things. Anyway, of all the different Craigslist apps that are out there, I found this to be the most eloquently put together. It's really, really, really clean. The company that creates it is a company called, what is it? Lifelike. Yeah. So Lifelike makes a bunch of apps that look like the real thing that run on the iPad. So my app, strong suggestion, go pick up the Craigslist app by Lifelike, and then it should be absolutely money. I think one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen for the iPad so far. And lastly, I want to tell you about Dragon Dictate has an application called Remote Microphone. So if you, like myself, are a Dragon Dictate user, you can take the iPhone and through a Wi-Fi ad hoc connection, use the iPhone as the microphone for Dragon. So that computer all the way over there on the back table here at the greenhouse, I can actually run a dictation by turning on the microphone on the iPhone and talking here, and it's transcribing my text all the way over there. Very cool app, absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything. Of course, you already have to have Dragon, which is $150, but Dragon in and of itself, that needs like a whole show. It is the coolest application ever made. So that's it. I'm
That's
done.
it. I don't think I have anything else. Actually, you want to talk about ZenBrush a bit?
No.
Because that was okay.
Save it for later.
Yeah, okay. We'll save it for later. It'll
It's
be
time
surprised.
to drink a beer.
That's not beer. Sake, man. I thought we talked about this.
Anyway, so we'd like to thank you for watching Nonstop Tech. Don't forget, you have any questions, any comments or feedback, you can send us an email. It's right there on the bottom. Also, remember to check the show notes. Links for everything is in there. Anything we covered. If you have any ideas, just let us know. Just let us rip. And thank you guys so much for supporting. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes. And big ups to the greenhouse. What do you think about our new set?
Amazing. I love it. The couch is great.
This is kind of comfy. I like press the RSS pillow if you like to get the feed delivered directly to your phone.
And then for everyone who loves Photoshop.
Are you sure that's Photoshop? No, I'm just joking. Anyway, we'll see you again next week. Matarai shimasu.
Take care.